Hello and welcome to today's video. My name is Samuel. In today's video, we are going to continue from where we stopped in last. I'm trying to show you practically how you can go about writing your research project. In chapter 1, we said that it is the introduction to your research, and in the introduction to your research, you define key terms and concepts, and then also give us as many different angles to your project topic as possible, right? Then we talked about writing your statement of the problem. We talked about your research questions, research objectives, significance of the study, scope of the study, and then limitations of the study. We also said that most of these things are interconnected. For instance, we said that your research questions and research objectives are connected, and then they together are connected to your research topic. That from your research topic is what you get your research questions, and from your research question is what you get your research objective. Just that you need to just do a few conversions to get your objectives from your research topic or research questions. Okay, so in today's video we are going to discuss chapter 2. I had an experience recently. Somebody close to me was trying to write a research project, and at some point I had to take over from her, and she wrote chapter 2, her literature review. So when I saw the literature review, I couldn't work with it. Okay, this is what I mean. Your literature review is supposed to be what you use to make your questionnaire. Remember, questionnaire comes at chapter 3, and remember I said things are interconnected in project writing. So your literature review is what you use to write or construct your questionnaire. But what she gave me was something I couldn't work with. So I had to do the literature review from scratch once again. Okay? Now, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that if you write your literature review with the understanding that whatever you write here, you are going to use it in chapter 3, then you will write it better. Okay? You will write it better. So, have it at the back of your mind that your literature review is supposed to be comprehensive enough to be turned into a questionnaire. If it is not that comprehensive enough, then there's going to be a problem. So I will explain further. So in your literature review, you're supposed to give an introduction to the chapter, right? Then you're supposed to give subheadings, preferably you're supposed to give subheadings that you are going to discuss in your literature review. Now, these subheadings are gotten from your research question. Again, you are seeing that everything is interconnected. So, I said they are gotten from your research questions. So, for instance, if we go back to our research question, the first one is what are the types of multimedia information resources available for undergraduate students in Kashim Ibrahim Library at invaluable University, right? This is the first research question. If you go back to your chapter 2, which is literature review, you will now have what? You now have types of multimedia information resources available for undergraduate students. How did I arrive at this? It's simple. Go back to your research question, copy it, right? Then come to your literature review, right? Paste it, right? If you paste it, then you delete some parts of it, right? Now, I am removing this last part you are seeing, this in Kashim Ibrahim Library and Medical University, because the literature you might find online may not be specific to your school, okay, or to your educational institution. So you need to leave you need to make provision for flexibility. Okay, you need to make provision for flexibility. So when you are presenting your subheadings and subtopics for literature review, you don't want to constrain yourself to a specific institution. You shouldn't do that. If you do that, you are going to find trouble or problems getting literature for each of those parts. Okay, so on a normal day, you will delete this so that it will be open-ended enough. Okay, open-ended enough for you to get literature across several universities, across several countries, across several departments. You see, right? So this is how to go about it. The same thing you do with chapter 2 with the next research question, just that in here I've done everything for you. You see, I've done everything for you, right? So it's the same thing. This is how you get your subheadings for your chapter 2 from your research question. Now, another thing you need to note is that when you are doing literature review, any subtopic you are discussing, make sure that the literatures you are getting have enough items. I mean items you can single out. Okay, have enough items that you can single out and use for your questionnaire. So it is important that you don't just cite sources that have a lot of English and grammar, but you look for sources that have different items. You see, for instance, here it is spoken, printed or spoken text, pictures, right? Here you see video. You see. So when you're doing literature review, you don't just look for just a bunch of text and the person that said it. No, you look for text or sources alongside items that you can use in your questionnaire. If you do it this way, you will find out that by the time we get to the point where you write your questionnaire, everything becomes simple, straightforward, and easy. Okay, so that is that for writing your chapter 2. You have to make sure that the sources you are citing, they are as current as possible. Okay, usually academically we don't accept anything older than 5 years. Okay, so you make sure that they are as current as possible, and then you make sure that they have items, things you can actually convert into questionnaire items. This is what you should take note of. Then, depending on your field and discipline, your chapter 2 may not be as straightforward as what we have here. For instance, I have a guide that I want to show you. Okay, there's a guide I want to show you. This is for a nursing department in one school. Now, notice how their chapter 2 is arranged. You see, they have conceptual review, theoretical review, and empirical review. So, in your chapter 2, you will review according to what your department said. If you don't do it that way, you will falter. Okay, and you end up facing a lot of rejections. So you're supposed to write it based on the guideline they have given you. If they have not given you guideline, you ask them to give you. Okay, or you talk to your student advisor, and then they give you how you should go about writing for each chapter. Okay, so let's go back to what we were doing. So, but this is for a different school. Your school might be different from this. Okay, then you might need to provide a summary. You might need to provide a summary for what you have reviewed. Okay, so if your department, your faculty, your department, or your school requires that you give a summary of what you have done, you can also give a summary. Then, in my experience, a good literature review is anything from 15-16 pages to about 22 pages. Okay, don't watch me to do this. That's in my own experience. Your experience might be different from, your experience might be different from what I've seen and known, but a good literature review is about that long. Alright? So when you have a literature review that is that wide and comprehensive, when you come to do your questionnaire, you don't have a problem. You can just simply go for each section of the questionnaire. You just copy and paste, create a table, copy and paste. That is all. Alright, so that brings us to the end of this video about your literature review. So to recap, your literature review has to be comprehensive enough. Your literature review is actually you breaking apart your research questions and treating them as headings. Okay, and then your literature review is what you use to construct your questionnaire. Alright, then make sure you cite as many sources as possible in your literature review. Make sure that your sources are relevant and current. Okay, so that is what we have for your chapter 2. If you have questions, if you have areas of challenges or anything you need me to clarify on, just hit me up and make that clarification for you.